Hi everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and today I'm here with Fairy Stamper making this card. Today I'm going to be using Treasure, Sentiment, Condo Dwellers 2, Full Moons, and Ania's Tree. So I'm going to start out by figuring out where I want the moon to be, and I'm going to use the Misti stamping tool to do that, just to make sure that it goes in the right place and in case I have to stamp it a couple times. I'm also using Memento because I'm going to be using some Distress Oxides on this and water, and I want to make sure that it's not going to smear when I'm doing it. And I created a mask for the moon, and then I created a little, just so that I could have a horizon, or the land and the skyline on there, and I just taped it to there. Nothing fancy, I just cut it out of a piece of paper and taped it to the back with some washi tape. And then I'm going to use some Distress Oxides to do my ink blending on here and to kind of create a dusk scene when the moon is still out, but that it's getting dusk out. And the colors I used for the moon was Antique Linen, Wild Honey, Picked Raspberry, Abandoned Coral, Candied Apple, and Wilted Violet were the colors I used for the background. And then also Black Soot that I used on the very bottom. And I'm just going to keep blending these together. I did remember to get my piece of scrap paper so that I don't get my fingerprints all over it. And I'm going to just keep blending it together and blending the colors together so that they end up kind of just merging together as that, like I said, just kind of that picture perfect dusk scene that I was going for. So I'm going to remove the little stencil that I created, and I'm going to kind of use the back side of it and flip it over so that I can use the Black Soot, because this is just going to be black on for the ground area. And I'm just going to keep using that same stencil. I'm not worried about this being 100% perfect. I just want to kind of try to keep it in place when I am doing it so that I can make that horizon line. Now I still have the moon mast, and then I misted water on it, and it gives it a different effect than if you're dropping large droplets of water on there. And then I took the piece of from the masking that I cut out, and I used that to kind of mask around the other area as I was filling in the color on that. Now why I didn't pick this mask back up and just set it on there at first, I don't know, but I was not thinking apparently. So I was just kind of going back and forth to get the coloring that I wanted, and then I got a little on there I wanted to blend better. And I wanted it a little darker around the moon with the violet and the candied apple, and it will give it a cool effect once I get the stamp down there. I know it looks a little hokey now, but once I get the tree stamp down there, it will look a lot better. And then I'm going to stamp the tree directly on there, and for the tree I am using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. The Memento was Tuxedo Black ink for the moon. And then I am going to, after I stamp it a couple times to make sure I get a nice crisp image, I'm going to use the Black Soot again on the bottom so that I kind of cover up that tree stamp just a little bit, and so it blends a little better with the coloring that's already down there. And again, I'm just using that stencil that I cut out from a piece of scrap paper that I had laying on my desk for the horizon line. I am going to heat emboss with some embossing powder the sentiment, "You Are My Treasure." And I'm going to use silver and white when I do it. So I use my embossing tool so that hopefully I don't get a ton on there, but I do end up getting some that I have to play with to get off. I'm using Brutus Monroe embossing ink. I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to put the silver over it first. I'm going to tap it a couple times so a little more falls off than maybe I normally would want. And then I'm going to put the white on top of it. And I wanted it to stand out a little more, so that's why I wanted to use the white, because the silver stands out well, but with those little specks of white in there, I think it helps it blend, or not blend, but stand out a little better. And then I'm just going to heat emboss that real quick. Now I did turn my heat tool on earlier because you do want to make sure that's nice and hot so that you don't distort your card too much. I'm going to cut the card panel down to 4 inches by 5.5 inches. I'm making an A2 size card, so it's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. And then I'm going to originally pick this yellow background, and then I changed my mind later and went back with a couple different ones. Now I'm using my Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen in clear on the moon, and then I am going to take the Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen in black and color in the tree, because some of the tree is hollowed on the stamp, and for this particular image I wanted that all black. But using the Sparkle Pen one gives it a little pizzazz with the sparkle, but it also is cool because the color's a little bit lighter in the black, and so you can still see the parts of the tree that were darker through that. So I think it ended up being really cool as far as how that goes. Now I was originally going to stop here, but then I decided I couldn't have this card without a couple fairies on it, so then I pulled out my Condo Dwellers 2-pack and just thought that would be perfect to add on there. So I ended up going with a very light pink card base. And then, like I said, I am going to get those Fairy Dwellers. Now I am going to use the Spectrum Noir Sparkle Pen in clear again on the fairies, just to give them that little bit of extra sparkle. And then that will pretty much finish up this card. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to see anything, let us know. I will be sure to link the stamps that I used in the description below, and I will also list products that I used in this as well. Make sure you check out some other videos that are on our Fairy Stamper page, and then be sure to check out our Facebook group, Fairy Stamper Hugs, so that you can see all the things that are on there. Again, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and have a great day.